Yujing City was the capital of the Dixuan dynasty and the center of power of the Dixuan dynasty. Common people, businessmen, literati, and warrior tourists crowded the bustling and lively streets, and the aristocratic families, the forces of the DPRK and China, and various forces of various sizes crisscrossed. This city is intoxicated, prosperous and prosperous. In the dark, there are swords, lights, swords, and shadows, and the shadows are heavy. In the clear sky, with a few white clouds floating in the air, there is a luxurious palace in the depths of the jade capital city. The palace is not only spacious, but also gorgeous. The four corners of the temple are raised high, as graceful as four swallows with wings ready to fly. Outside the palace, a handsome young man was lying in a rocking chair. The maid next to him was swaying leisurely. The mood of the young man was as leisurely as the rocking chair. Li Zheng was humming an unknown little song from the maid of honor. From time to time, he grabbed a handful of fish food and threw it in the small lake in front of him. Suddenly, a group of colorful fish rushed to the surface of the lake. What, isn't violet and radiant a description of a flower? Can a fish still be radiant? If Li Zheng knew this idea, he couldn't help laughing. The prince's life is happier than you think. The third prince, Li Zheng, is an ordinary person who has received 9 years of compulsory education. That's right, a transmigrator who has been through the soul for 2 years. I just turned 16 this year, and I'm ready to open a mansion. The prince of the Dixuan dynasty left the palace at the age of 16 to open a mansion. If the prince is outstanding, the emperor can grant one fief within 4 years to rule the other. Therefore, Li Zheng is not panic at all but a little excited. Now I can finally leave the palace, go shopping freely, and see the ancient traditional brothel. Get ready to enjoy the rotten life of an ancient prince. Oh, breath of freedom! Li Zheng felt more and more excited when he thought of this. The rocking chair swayed higher and higher. Finally, I can go and see Shuyun Pavilion. A major feature of Yujing City's evening scenery, Shuyun Pavilion, there are famous courtesans all over the capital, beauties as weak as water, skilled violin masters, dignitaries, talented people, and beautiful women. Li Zheng thought of this in his heart, and the swing of the rocking chair became faster. The number of times you can leave the palace in 2 years is no more than 5 fingers. Li Zheng is really depressed. The prince lives well, but the young ladies in the palace can't touch them. In the palace, you can't walk around casually. Every day is 3 o'clock and one line. Every day, I start from my own palace, Yunyang Palace, and go to the palace of the concubine mother to say goodbye, and then I go to the Imperial College to study. Li Zheng thought to himself, play for 2 years first, then go to the fief and be a happy little prince. What do you say? Only outstanding princes have fiefs. Sorry, in the adult world, it's not that you are outstanding, but the influence of your mother and the outstanding family behind you. It happened that Li Zhengniang was one of the 3 imperial concubines in the harem, concubine Yun. As for the family behind becoming a noble concubine, can it be an ordinary family? The words are not to say that the transmigrators are not the strongest, or they are called kings and emperors. Ugh! Thinking of this, Li Zheng felt depressed in his heart. Do you know how I came here in 2 years? At the beginning, I came to this world where the martial arts reach the sky, where the dynasty, sects, and aristocratic families cover the sky. It's the prince's start again, thinking that it can be like a novel, super genius, or waste material. The beginning attracts the emperor's attention, the princes are hostile, and then in the struggle, the more and more courageous, the personal charm is getting higher and higher, and all outstanding talents will come. Assist yourself, and finally conquer the world. He is too pure. First, he is not a super genius, and second, he is not a waste material. His cultivation is just as ordinary as a general genius, and his strategic IQ is mediocre. Why continue to fight? The crown prince already has it. Crown Prince Li Yu's mother is the empress, and his grandfather is the Dixuan emperor. Even if the prince was reasonable, he died unexpectedly. There is also the second prince, Li Yu, the king of Yu. The second prince and the queen are also one of the three great concubines, and the prime minister is his grandfather. The second prince is ambitious and is now the prince's biggest competitor, between the power and the prince. What's more, the fourth prince, Li Yu, was both talented and beautiful. The fifth prince, Li Sun, is a super genius. His mother, concubine Yang Gui, is the first family of the Dixuan dynasty. The power of the fourth prince is only under the crown prince, King Yu. Now the third prince Li Zheng, the fourth prince Li Yu, and the fifth prince Li Sun will all open their residences this year. There is also the eighth prince Li Wang who most resembles the protagonist. His mother is the maid of the Emperor Dixuan, Li Chen, who was lucky one night. Emperor Chen didn't care about the eighth prince at all. And when Li Zhang practiced martial arts, he was a waste. Of course, this waste material is not waste, but the talent is the same as that of ordinary people. But in front of these princes and princes' sons, they seem useless. Yu reading www.yuyuganshu.com with a withdrawn personality, he is always laughed at by other princes and princes' children. Mom, except for these princes who stand out, Li Zheng is as ordinary as the other princes in general. The youngest prince, the 13th prince, is 14 years old, so the age of the princes is not much different. I can't do anything about it, I can't fight, I don't have outstanding ability, I'm just mediocre, so I'll just be a happy little prince. The little days are very peaceful day by day. In the morning, go to Yunfei Palace to say goodbye, and then go to Quozijian to study. And then back to Yunyang Palace. Because Li Zheng showed no intention of fighting for the throne, every prince was very friendly to Li Zheng on the surface. Brother three emperors, Li Zheng also responded enthusiastically under the warm greetings of the brothers, and 2 years passed peacefully under the harmonious coexistence of several brothers. Of course, I also take care of the eighth prince from time to time, help him, let him feel the love of his brother. After all, what if he is the protagonist? Either way, it's beneficial. Hold steady. As for why no one suppresses me, are you a fool to be a prince? Do you have nothing to do, provoke an enemy for no reason? Or do you want to find a sense of existence? Li Zheng sighed helplessly, my simple life. King Yu, come and rub my shoulders, King Yu, help me peel the grape skins. Yes, Your Highness. King Yu, two lovely little palace maids, said softly. At this time, outside Yujing City, 30 miles away, a convoy quickly walked towards Yujing City, and a military general in white armor walked to a luxurious carriage. Young master, it's almost Yujing City, said softly. Well, enter the Jade Capital. A firm and clear female voice came from the car. Qin Mingjun, courtesy name Zhao, is the only daughter of Qin Nai, the general of the Dixuan dynasty, and the first daughter of the Dixuan dynasty. He is admired by countless heroes. She was literate at the age of 3, read the 4 books and 5 classics at the age of 5, and was familiar with historical classics. At the age of 6, he said to his father, who says women are inferior to men. Then he showed his demon-like talent in martial arts. He entered the martial arts at the age of 6, entered the postnatal realm at the age of 9, and entered the postnatal realm at the age of 9. Became the youngest congenital warrior of the Dixuan dynasty. At the age of 12, he sought his father, followed the army, and learned the tactics of war. At the age of 15, he fought against Yu Luofu, a famous general of the Western Jin dynasty, at the border, and won 2 of 3 battles. In the end, he broke through the master and beheaded Yu Luofu on the battlefield. In the end, they won the 3 cities on the border of the Western Jin dynasty and won a big victory. Known by the world as the first female Tianjiao in Dixuan. The worship of countless women, the admiration of countless heroes, and the size of all the ministers in the court, a daughter should be like Qin Mingjun. And a year later, Qin Mingjun entered the Jade capital city and chose a son-in-law. From the capital to the common people, dignitaries and nobles, all kinds of forces, all the way up to the family of ministers, they all boiled over. In case his son or grandson is chosen, not only can he get Qin Mingjun, but Qin Nai, the general of the Genkuo, who made a third of the dynasty for the dynasty, has only one daughter. Then you can embrace the huge power of the great general's mansion, and even inherit the Genkuo mansion. People of small power are daydreaming, the top forces know some insiders, but some people are thinking, I don't know this situation, how can the Genkuo government break? He looked in the direction of the palace with piercing eyes. In the morning, when Li Zheng, the third prince, came to Quozijian, he heard the sons of the princes, talking a lot. As soon as he sat down, a little fat man leaned over and said, Third prince, do you know? Qin Mingjun has come to the capital to choose a son-in-law. It's great, I finally have a chance to meet her. Oh! It's just to see her once, don't you want to marry her? The third prince Li Zheng looked at Xiao Teng in surprise and said, Xiao Teng laughed at himself, Third prince, don't make fun of me. How could a little guy like us be qualified to marry Qin Mingjun? Only princes like you, those princes, ministers, and genius children of noble families are qualified. The third prince, Li Zheng, shook his head with a smile. Xiao Teng was the son of the minister of the Ministry of Finance, but he was not the most outstanding son. The family background is not bad either. But what he said was right, thinking of what concubine Yun said when she went to concubine Yun this morning to ask for peace. Huang this time Qin Mingjun returned to the capital to choose a son-in-law. This is also what your royal father wants to see. After all, whoever marries Qin Mingjun will be able to get the support of the forces of the township government. My son understands that for our prince, whoever marries Qin Mingjun will have the greatest power, and no prince can fight against him. But it is also poison, because other princes will definitely join forces to eliminate him first. Well, my son is smart, concubine Yun looked at Li Zheng, the third prince, kindly, Your Majesty, have you really made up your mind? If you dare to fight for that position, this is your greatest chance. Bengong and Bengong your family will support you. If you don't want to, then don't worry about it, and be a prince in peace in the future. The third prince Li Zheng said helplessly, Mother concubine, my son just wants to be a free prince. Hey! Who doesn't want to be the position above 10,000 people, but also considers their own rank? If you have the ability and strength to compete, that's called competition. If you don't have the ability and strength, it's called courting death. Knowledge. Although concubine Yun's family is considered a first-class family, compared to the top family power behind several princes, there is still a big gap. And there was no preparation from the beginning, and now the gap with their forces is getting bigger and bigger. No, the prince and the second prince of King Yu stepped into the gate at the same time. Immediately, the prince and the second prince looked at each other. Yusha faced the wind, and the imposing prince smiled calmly, Second brother, Qin Mingjun has already lived in the Grand General's mansion in Yujing City, I am quite curious about this Qin Tianjiao. In the past few days, this palace is going to visit this famous man. Wonder Woman of the world. The second prince of King Yu had a face like a crown of jade, and said to the prince with a graceful smile, Really, eldest brother, I heard that the relationship between the captain and General Qin is not very good. Be careful that Qin Tianjiao is also prejudiced against you. Hearing that, the crown prince frowned, then smiled lightly, How can the affairs of the previous generation involve our generation? It's not necessarily because of us that the relationship between the elders is reconciled, haha. Li Yu, didn't I give birth one day later than you, now I'm just the prince, there's still a chance. Snort. The days are still far away, and a wicked look flashed in King Yu's eyes, then let's wait and see. After Yu said, he walked into Quozijian. The prince's face also became serious, and he thought as he walked, Li Yu should not be underestimated, but he can't be allowed to marry Qin Mingjun, otherwise it will be troublesome. Immediately, everyone who had been discussing before all sat down quietly, and the atmosphere was extremely depressing. Under the azure blue sky, the golden glazed tile roof of the Forbidden City looks extraordinarily brilliant. The Golden Palace is the main hall of the Dixuan dynasty, where the emperor and the ministers in the court are discussing matters. The inner pillars of the main hall are all supported by a number of giant red pillars, each of which is engraved with a coiled, lifelike golden dragon, which is extraordinarily spectacular. Sitting high above the court, the Emperor Dixuan, who swallowed mountains and rivers, galloped vertically and horizontally, and was the only one who respected himself. The ministers in the hall stood in 2 rows, and the Prime Minister, headed by the left civil official, took it calmly and calmly. The Taiwei, headed by the military commander of the right column, was calm and composed, and watched from the sidelines. At this time, Emperor Chen and the ministers in the court were discussing the affairs of the present, and Director Li came to Emperor Chen and whispered a few words. The noise in the court was immediately quieted down. When the minister in the court saw Emperor Chen, he immediately had a hint of doubt, and then nodded lightly. Haven't waited to take a closer look, and heard, biography, General Qin Zhou entered the hall, Director Li said indifferently. It is said that General Qin Zhou entered the hall. Legend has it that General Qin Zhou pass. At that time, a woman with immortal appearance, jade appearance, beauty like Shunyua, and heroic spirit stepped into the Golden Palace. Qin Mingjun is the 3rd-rank General Zhou, general of the Black Ling Army. Dressed in a retro dress, the delicate lace framed the fair legs, slender and straight, and the exquisite curves were completely outlined. Qin Mingjun, who has black hair like ink cascading down his waist, eyes as cold as a clear spring on a snowy mountain, has an ethereal and arrogant temperament. Walking into the hall, he salutes the overlord sitting high above the court. Last general, Qin Mingjun sees His Majesty. Qin's niece came to the court. Does she already have a crush? Emperor Chen asked with a questioning and firm tone. Okay? Immediately, several ministers who had squinted their eyes opened their eyes, and the hall seemed to be a little brighter. I saw this young woman saying, I want to ask your majesty to give me a marriage. Oh? I don't know which handsome man has caught Qin's niece's eyes. Chen Huang said with a hint of surprise. The 3rd prince, Li Zheng. Okay? The ministers all looked at her sharply. Emperor Chen was silent for a while, and looked at Qin Mingjun with bright and abyss eyes. Allow. Inside the imperial palace, Li Zheng was chatting enthusiastically with a few friends about romantic affairs. Of course Li was listening, they were talking. Li Zheng looked enviously at the place where they were chatting, which was lively and fun, how beautiful the scenery was, and which beautiful woman had good piano skills. Now Li Zheng still doesn't know that there is a pot over his head. Qiaozijian was out of school, when Li Zheng was on his way back to his Yunyang palace as usual. Suddenly heard, His Royal Highness the 3rd Prince, walk slowly. Li Zheng turned around and looked back. It turned out that Director Li, who had been with Emperor Chen since childhood, came with a few little eunuchs with him. Li Zheng looked at Director Li. Everyone knows how important the who has been by the emperor's side since he was a child is very important. So I'm very polite to Director Li. Why did eunuch Li come to find me? Could it be that Emperor Chen has something to do with me? Li Zheng thought to himself, and said to Mr. Li who came to his side, Isn't eunuch Li looking for this prince? What's the matter? Director Li said with a good-looking face and a smile, His Royal Highness the 3rd Prince, Your Majesty has a request. Sure enough, Li Zheng understood. I don't know what my father is looking for from me. Li Zheng has not seen Emperor Chen very often in the past 2 years. Most of them met Emperor Chen together with concubine Yun, and when the grand banquet was held on New Year's Eve, some princes who were not to be seen could also see Emperor Chen at this time. Once. His Royal Highness the 3rd Prince will know when he arrives. Manager Li said with a smile without changing his face. Well, it seems that I can't ask anything. Li Zheng thought anxiously in his heart, but he also had a hint of expectation in his heart. I don't know what the Emperor Chen has to do with me, are you going to give me a fief to open a mansion? In this way, Li Zheng followed Director Li to the imperial study. When he entered the imperial study, he saw that the extraordinary Emperor Chen was sitting without anger and arrogantly correcting the memorials. There was no one in the entire imperial study. My son, I pay my respects to the royal father, and wish the royal father a long life without boundaries. Emperor Chen put down his memorial and looked at his handsome, warm-looking son. A touch of warmth flashed in his eyes. Zheng'er, are you 16 this year? Yes, royal father, my son will be 16 in 1 month. Li Zheng said in a soft tone. Do you know that when the court is going to the court today, Qin Mingjun came to court to ask me for a marriage? Hey! Li Zheng was startled and puzzled. Before Li Zheng could answer, Emperor Chen left the imperial desk, and the temperament of the only one who was the only one exuded from the inside out. 20 years ago, Qin Nai destroyed the Dogon and Dahu dynasty adjacent to my Dixuan dynasty, let us Dixuan dynasty. Territory expanded by Onet herd. Became the great general of our dynasty, and was in charge of the 800,000 strong and well-known Black Plume Corps. The prestige in the army is unmatched, and now, it is not heard. Emperor Chen's aura became more and more terrifying, and the entire space seemed to be pressed down by the sky. And last year, Qin Mingjun's daughter, Qin Mingjun, killed the famous general Yu Luofu, which made the town more influential. Now, in the millions of miles of Jingzhou, only the great general is heard, not the Emperor Dixuan. Half of the forces in the DPRK and China are related to the general's mansion. Humph! But I am the head of the Dixuan dynasty, and Qin Nai didn't dare to tear his face. Therefore, under my means, Qin Nai had to send Qin Mingjun to Yujing City to choose a son-in-law. Originally, I thought that I could trap Qin Mingjun in Yujing City, so that Qin Nai would not dare to act rashly. I didn't expect that she would be the first female Tianjiao of my Dixuan dynasty. She did not dare to ask me for marriage in private, for fear that I would leave her in Yujing City and directly ask me to give her marriage above the court. And I have no reason to refuse this marriage. Speaking of which, Emperor Chen's terrifying aura disappeared, as if it had never happened before. Do you know who she gave me the marriage? Li Zheng's heart was shocked. Fake. That is to say, Qin Mingjun's father may have the intention of treason, and then be threatened by Emperor Chen. I had to ask Qin Mingjun to go to the Jade capital city to choose a son-in-law. Prepare to imprison Qin Mingjun. But I don't know if it was Qin Nai's idea or Qin Mingjun's resourcefulness. The next day, he directly asked the court for the marriage, but Emperor Chen had to grant the marriage. And the object of marriage? Li Zheng thought of this, his face turned pale, and he said to Emperor Chen in a cold sweat, I don't know. That's right, it's your third prince, Li Zheng. Emperor Chen said the words that Li Zheng knew but dared not believe. And at the most, when you open the mansion, the forces of the general's mansion will definitely pressure me to grant you a fief. Send it to the fief, and let Qin Mingjun follow yours to the fief. Li Zheng wanted to cry without tears. Can I refuse to accept it? Emperor Chen glanced at Director Li. Director Li took out the imperial decree and shouted, the third prince, Li Zheng, took the decree. The third prince, Li Zheng, turned 16 this year, and the opening of the mansion is imminent. Li Zhengguen is quick-witted, smart, and won my heart. He gave the word Qin and was named King of Qin. Of course, the arrogant daughter of Qin Mingjun's generation, and the King of Qin, are a match made in heaven, and they can get married when they are 18 years old. Li Zheng reluctantly knelt down and accepted the order. Thank you, the father, may the father live forever. At this time, Qin Mingjun had returned to the Grand General's mansion in Yujing City. In a secret room, beside him was a resolute man in white armor. One of the maids asked, Young master, is this plan really feasible? Don't worry, Emperor Chen will agree. this is also my request to come to the Jade capital city. Qin Mingjun, a handsome man, replied. Qin Mingjun looked in the direction of the palace with bright eyes. Who says women are inferior to men? Is the emperor only a man can do it? Qin Mingjun thought in his heart, a heroic spirit radiated from the inside out. Li Zheng returned to the Yunyang palace in a trance and lay on the bed. Depend on. Although the unmarried imperial concubine is the first female genius, this is not what I want. There are so many handsome men in Qin Mingjun who like her. Don't choose me. Is it bad to choose the prince, or the second prince? No, if she chooses these two, she may not be able to carry out her plan. Alas, I still blame myself for being too weak. Chen Huang doesn't necessarily help me. His opponent is Qin Nai, and my opponent is Qin Mingjun. It's over, this life is over. The power is not as powerful as Qin Mingjun's, and the force can't beat it. She became a master a year ago, and I'm still just entering the innate. She also has conspiracy intentions. When Li was sighing for his future life, an ancient voice resounded in the depths of my mind, detected that the host has been crowned king. The Huaxia Renjia summoning system is activated. Duxuan New Year 72. Qin Wang Li Zheng has a maiden concubine. There is a system. When King Qin Li Zheng was alone in his bedroom, he was starting the system that was 2 years late. This morning, Qin Mingjun asked Emperor Chen to grant him a marriage, and the news that Emperor Chen approved it spread throughout the entire Yujing city in less than an hour. On the street, restaurants, passers-by, and pedestrians were talking about it. In the restaurant, several guests at a table by the railing on the second floor were also discussing this matter. Guest A, you say how did we Qin Tianjiao choose a husband so quickly, and we also chose an unknown third prince? Guest B, yes, His Royal Highness, Prince Yu, the fourth prince, and the fifth prince are not more famous than the third prince. Guest C, be careful, how can we talk more about the royal affairs? The things here are very serious. How do you know that the third prince can't compare with these princes? If he didn't have the ability, how could Qin Tianjiao directly ask His Majesty to marry him as soon as he came to Yujing City? Guest Ding, that's right, maybe, Qin Tianjiao and His Royal Highness the third prince have known each other for a long time, and unknown things happened, hee. These people gathered together and showed a smile that every man understands. And some of the heroes who drank in the restaurant, although they admired Qin Tianjiao, but the prince's status was noble and indescribable, so he couldn't describe it, he could only drink boring wine. And some people from the top forces are somewhat intriguing. Basically, they praised Qin Mingjun's strategic move. As for the third prince Li Zheng, haha. A prince who is about to be out. Inside the palace, in the Viang Palace, in the prince's study. At this time, the imposing prince's face was full of darkness. Prince Li Yu once met the heroic female general wearing a snow-white armor, a phoenix crown and a silver helmet a year ago, and he was deeply attracted at first sight. Qin Mingjun. Why do you do this? If you choose this palace, our forces will combine and you will be able to ascend to the throne. If this palace becomes the lord of this great dynasty, you will definitely become the queen, and the mother will honor the world. Why? Why? Do you really want to rebel against General Qin's mansion? The prince roared in his heart. In the Yuyang Palace, King Yu and several of his advisors were discussing calmly, and laughter could be heard from time to time. King Yu's face was like a crown of jade, and he smiled indifferently, things are getting more and more interesting. However, King Yu frowned, General Qin's mansion had to be guarded. Goldfinger may be late, but he will never be absent. Whether you can open it depends on whether you meet the conditions. Just like Li Zheng, he is very excited now, System. It turns out that I also have golden fingers. System. Come out and talk and introduce your functions. The system in the mind, the host can summon the system by meditating in his mind. The Huaxia Renjia summoning system is the 5,000 years since ancient Huaxia Yanhuang descendants, the heroes of all ages, not including emperors, have been worshipped by countless people's beliefs, forming strong ideas, plus some indescribable conditions and unrepeatable coincidences, formed the Huaxia Renjia summoning system. The Huaxia Renjia summoning system is divided into two parts, one is the lottery system and the other is the task system. The lottery system can randomly select one outstanding person every 3 months. The task system randomly triggers tasks, and the completion of the task is different according to the level of the task. It can be divided into unparalleled talents, top talents, first class, second class talents, to extract talents in a certain aspect at one level. Li Zheng listened to the introduction of the system and knew the functions and capabilities of the system. That is to say, there is a guaranteed lottery draw every 3 months, but whether or not he can draw a high-level outstanding person depends on whether he is a European emperor or a non-chief. There are also randomly triggered tasks. Depending on the simplicity of the task and the completion of the task, one of the 4 levels can be selected as a hero, and one can also be summoned from a certain aspect. The outstanding people who have just been summoned are 100% loyal, unparalleled Tianjiao. He must be the strongest or most influential person among the outstanding talents in China, such as Confucius, Lao Tzu, Sun Wu, Overlord Xiang Yu, Li Kungxiu, Lu Boan, etc., who are invincible peaks in certain aspects of the times. You can specify the task to draw and summon top people: Ran Min, Wang Jian, Bai Qi, LV Bulletin, Guo Jie, Zhe Liang, Chong Yuchen, people who are at the peak of the contemporary era. There are more first-class and second-class talents. First class: Meng Tian, Lian Po, Sun Yu, Ma Chao, Tian Feng, Fang Xianling, Wei Zheng, Su Dingfang. Second rate: Zhang Liao, Gao Shun, Cheng Yaojin, Hua Xiong, Di Renjia, Xia Hedun, Wu Song, Lin Chong. Tisk tisk. This is to make me king. However, keep a low profile and keep a low profile, not to mention that the unfathomable Emperor Chen is still there. The few princes are all resourceful and sophisticated people. There is also a supervillain beside him. Wretched growth, don't waver. Hold on. Hold on, don't get excited. Li Zheng thought silently in his heart. Huaxia Renjia summoning system, check that the host has been crowned king. Activate the system rewards Emperor Sutra you can draw for the first time. You can draw once at the first class hero level. Yo ho! Newbie gift pack. Feeling a little excited. Just before my brother, playing a certain penguin glory, the probability is 99% to win the skin lottery, and you will definitely win the skin of the European Emperor. Don't be too simple. Receive the exercises first, Li Zhendao. In this world, every set of exercises and martial arts are together. There are all the most suitable martial arts for practicing this technique. The exercises here are divided into 4 levels of heaven, earth, and yellow. In the depths of his mind, a Taoist scripture that exudes a chaotic atmosphere poured into Li Zheng's mind. An hour later, Li Zheng's cultivation base suddenly skipped the middle and late stages from the early stage of the innate, and came to the peak of the innate, after it was completely stabilized. UU reading www.uuganju.com. Comfortable, the innate peak is so soon, but to hide it, Li Zheng thought silently, and then the cultivation base returned to the early innate. Come on, system, let's get a guaranteed first-rate draw once, exciting final play. Li Zheng meditated proudly. A roulette wheel that exudes an ancient atmosphere appeared in Li Zheng's mind. The roulette wheel is divided into 4 color areas: blue, purple, orange, and red. The blue area is the largest, followed by purple, and the last red area can be said it's not a region, it's a thick line. After a while, the 4 areas all turned into purple areas. When the roulette pointer is spinning in the purple area, 3 seconds later, drop. Congratulations to the host for winning the first-class talent, Chen Gong. First-class top talent, Li Zheng's face is full of excitement, the top strategist in the Three Kingdoms period. Now he is in need of a strategist to advise him, and he is still such a top strategist. The system comes with a random summon. Now is the time to be lucky. Li Zheng intends to make persistent efforts, in case another first-class person is drawn. Yes, host. The ancient roulette wheel appeared in Li Zheng's mind, and the pointer began to rotate in the 4 areas of blue, purple, orange, and red. Li Zheng prayed excitedly in his heart, no need to think about the outstanding talents, the top talents can rush to the top, and the first-class talents can be guaranteed. Li Zheng stared at the roulette wheel, and saw that the roulette wheel pointer slowly slipped into the orange area, but it was still slowly sliding towards the blue area. Second-rate talents are also good. Summoned is also a top genius in the Dixuan dynasty. Li Zheng thought calmly. Drib. Congratulations to the host for summoning Lu Buletin. Okay? Okay. What? Lu Buletin. In Yunyang Palace, a surprised voice sounded in the palace of King Qin. Li Zheng called out excitedly. This is Lu Buletin, the first general of the Three Kingdoms period in ancient times. The story of Sanying and Lu Buletin can be said to be familiar to the common people. Lu Buletin was good at riding and archery, brave and martial, known as Flying General, At the end of the Eastern Han dynasty, when Lu Buletin was alive, who would dare to say that he was the #1 general? You must know how many generals there were in that period. It can be said that the stars were shining. But Lu Buletin is recognized as the #1. Everyone knows that after Lu Buletin's death, when Guan Yu was fighting with others, everyone was called a puppet. Li Zheng looked at the turntable in his mind. It turned out that the pointer had not yet reached the blue area, but was still in the orange area, and it was almost there. The sun, or a plant that can be seen everywhere, is it so exciting? I hope you will make me so exciting in the future, system. Haha. The first-class man is Chen Gong, and the top man is Lu Buletin. It can be said that this time is really a super gift package. Wang Bang is starting. Moreover, Chen Gong was also the chief counselor under Lu Buletin's tent. It could be said that he was very familiar with each other, and cooperation would be more effective with less effort. System, open my basic information. Li Zheng called out with excitement on his face. Host, Li Zheng exercise method, Emperor Sutra cultivation, innate peak identity. King Qin of Dixuan dynasty has 2 outstanding people, top man, Lu Buletin, to be summoned, first-class hero, Chen Gong, to be called. How are these outstanding people summoned? Are they directly summoned to their side? Li Zheng asked. The system can be summoned directly to the side, or within 100 miles of the host. That's great, so I can rest assured. Li Zheng thought to himself, especially at this critical moment, the major forces are basically paying attention to me and Qin Mingjun. Otherwise, these 2 outstanding people suddenly appeared beside me now, if others knew about it. Especially Emperor Chen, the entire palace is under his control. Suddenly someone appeared beside me out of thin air, without a trace, and there were only 2. Emperor Chen didn't even want to investigate the bottom line. If he can't find out that. Dare to think, although I am his son, but the father-son relationship in the palace is really unbelievable. It must be checked secretly, questioned me openly, and how could I possibly answer? It will be over by then. System, summon the 2 heroes outside Yujing City, and let them freely arrange to cultivate their forces first. Wait until I go to the fief and gather again. Li Zheng pondered for a while and calmly said, Yes, host. Show me their basic information. After Li Zhenggang finished speaking, the eye mask appeared from a web-like perspective. Name, Lu Buletin, Military General, Quality, Top Talent, Red, Technique, Heavenly Demon War Code Cultivation, innate peak weapon, Fang Tian Huaji talent. If you are strong, you will be strong. Introduction, the first general of the three kingdoms. Feature War Demon. When fighting against the enemy, the more you fight, the more courageous you are. Every time you kill a general, you can temporarily increase your own cultivation, up to a maximum of 5 minor cultivation levels, upgradable. Feature Wolf Cavalry. When Lu Buletin commands a cavalry corps to fight, it can stimulate the wolf nature of the soldiers, and the team fighting ability is greatly improved. And the cultivation base of all soldiers can be up to 3 small steps. I go. As expected of the war demon Lu Buletin, he has such dazzling abilities and characteristics. Li Zheng said excitedly. Name, Chen Gong, Strategist, Quality, First Class Talents, Purple, Cultivation Method, King Fengiadian Cultivation, Innate Middle Stage. Brief Introduction, Chen Gong, courtesy name Gongta, has an upright personality and is resourceful. Really, when Li was watching their basic situation, in the mountains and forests outside Yujing City, 2 people suddenly appeared. I saw only one person, 7 feet away, wearing a battle robe, with a slender waist tied to his back, his shoulders folded, his face resolute, his sword drawn into the sky and his brow inserted into his forehead, a pair of handsome eyes, showing the world what it is. Real man. The other is a gentleman, with eyes as deep as the sea, and his breath is looming. At first glance, he can tell that he is a scholar who is full of poetry and books and full of knowledge. These 2 are Lu Buletin and Chen Gong. Lu Buletin looked at Chen Gong with complicated eyes. Gongta, it's hard for you. Before Lu Buletin finished speaking, Chen Gong smiled and said, Feng Xian, what happened in the last life is over, and now we are in this vast world, and the Lord gave us a second life. With our ability to assist the Lord together, we must be in this world, conquer the quartet, and dominate the world. After listening to Chen Gong's comfort, LV Buletin's eyes glowed. That's right, let's help the Lord together, achieve dominance in this world, and let this vast world resound my name, Lu Buletin. Lu Buletin said domineeringly. You reading www.youcanshu.com. Haha, this is the Feng Xian I know. Lu Buletin suddenly said embarrassedly, don't make fun of me on the public platform. I have to ask you about strategies. The Lord asked us not to follow him to protect him now, but let us develop our own power. What should we do? Chen Gong's eyes were deep, and he said solemnly, in the current situation of the Lord, we are not by the Lord's side, and our role is far greater than being by the Lord's side. Chen Gong pondered for a while, then calmly said, 1. The Lord is about to open his mansion, and he urgently needs to control and develop his own power behind him. 2nd, only the Lord in the world knows our existence, and we can secretly develop hidden forces. When necessary, we can surprise and win by surprise. After Chen Gong said 2 points, he continued, what the Lord urgently needs now is an organization that collects information and spy on the enemy's situation. This is built by me going to Jade Capital City, and it can also support the Lord. Feng Xian, you need to train a team. You can recruit some refugees, or you can directly find a bandit cottage to suppress and recruit them. This is faster. Chen Gong combined with what the King of Qin will do now, and how to do it one by one. If Li was here, he saw Chen Gong's thoughts and actions. I will definitely praise Chen Gong well, he is indeed a top strategist. As soon as it comes out, make preparations for the development of forces in the early stage based on the actual situation. Okay, I will train a team as soon as possible, and let the Lord have his own armed forces. Gongta, we will separate from this, the Lord will be in charge of the Yujing city, and be careful in everything. Lu Buletin did what he said, and instructed Chen Gong. Feng Xian, don't worry. Then the 2 parted here, and Chen Gong walked to the Jade capital. Lu Buletin went east. The next morning, the morning sun shone on Li Zheng's bedroom. Inside the bedroom, he saw Yunding sandalwood as the beam, crystal jade bai as the lamp, pearl as the curtain, and fanjin as the pillar foundation. The 6-foot-wide agar wood bed is embroidered with begonia flowers sprinkled with pearls and silver threads on the tent. On the couch is a sapphire incense pillow, a soft silkworm ice mat, and a jade belt and a quilt. Li Zheng was excited for a whole night last night, but now he has calmed down. In the morning, King Yu's 2 lovely little maids served Li Zheng and got up. Li Zheng watched as the 2 lovely maids used their weak and flawless hands to dress him up. Another sigh in my heart, corrupt feudal society. Really fragrant. Tisk. In the bedroom, after King Yu retired, Li Zheng looked in the mirror. Looking at the fresh and handsome self in the mirror with sword eyebrows and star eyes, he silently recited, I didn't have a choice before, but now I want to be emperor. Who in the world doesn't want to, drunk on the knees of a beauty, wake up and take control of the world? I don't know if it was just running the God Emperor Sutra overnight, or Li Zheng woke up. Li Zheng exuded a trace of anger, swallowing mountains and rivers. Immediately disappeared, his expression was as usual, as if it had never happened. Li Zheng continued to think, the road ahead is very long and even more intense. I still have to keep a low profile and low-key, and develop wretchedly. I can't wave, I'm still very weak now. Build walls high, store grain widely, and become king slowly is a wise saying that countless seniors told us. Thinking about it, Li Zheng's expression became calm and composed, and his eyes were very calm and calm. And yesterday, the imperial decree that Emperor Chen bestowed the 3rd prince to seal the King of Qin had already been conveyed to the world. King Qin? Snort. Many conspirators showed disdain. For a time, the undercurrent of Yujing city was surging. 3 days later will be the annual dynasty hunting battle. The hunting ceremony was very solemn. It was originally a hunting meeting between the emperor and the civil servants, but it was changed to a hunting battle for young heroes. After all, the emperor's cultivation base has already reached the unfathomable yin-yang realm, so it would be meaningless to hunt some monsters in the innate realm. Therefore, it was changed to a young hero hunting battle, and the younger generation in Yujing city was allowed to hunt, and the young talents could compare and see who were the young geniuses. This is the carnival of the younger generation, a platform for talent showcasing. If you become famous in the hunting battle, it will spread throughout the Dixuan dynasty, and there are countless opportunities in the hunting grounds. The current hunting will be divided into 2 parts. The first 3 days will enter the hunting ground to hunt, and then there will be a showdown of the arrogance. If you win the first 3, you will be rewarded with precious treasures by the Emperor Chen. This year, coupled with the appearance of Qin Tianjiao, this hunting battle was even more intense. The geniuses of various aristocratic families, the heirs of civil servants and fierce generals, the sons of princes and princes, and the young heroes who have been circulating for a while are all ready to go, eager to try. Prepare to become famous in the hunting battle. At this time, Li Zheng came to the concubine Yun palace to greet concubine Yun Gui. My son, please be safe for the concubine. The calm and elegant concubine Yun looked at Jianmei and stared eyes. The dignified and slender son said kindly, Zheng, you have been given the King Qin by His Majesty, the palace is about to open, and you are about to leave the palace. Please be safe. After concubine Yun finished speaking, her eyes showed sadness. Li Zheng comforted, don't worry, concubine, my son will definitely come to see concubine if I have time. Concubine Yun Gui can be said to be the only relative in this world who treats her wholeheartedly. Zheng, Qin Mingjun actually asked His Majesty to marry you, which is unexpected. But this shows many unusual things, and Zheng needs to be vigilant. Concubine Yun Gui said to Li Zheng with a worried face. Although concubine Yun had no news in the harem, being one of the 3 concubines in the first-class family power, in addition to Emperor Chen's love for her, also had her own wisdom. However, concubine Yun continued, it's a lot of harm, but it's also very beneficial. Qin Nai of the Zhenqiu government is a son of Qin Mingjun, and Qin Mingjun is a daughter. In the future, you and Qin Mingjun's son will definitely inherit the Genqiu of you. This will be your greatest power. Yun Gaifei stretched her eyebrows. Hey, Queen Mother, I think so too, but after listening to Emperor Chen's description and the actions of Qin Nai, the general of the township, all these indicate that Qin Nai has rebelled, and they may wait for an opportunity. Li Zheng thought helplessly in his heart. But I still can't let concubine Yun know about my current danger and make her worry. Yes, concubine, I know. Zheng'er, you wanted to be a free prince before, but you didn't cultivate some powers. When the mansion is opened, I will notify the mother clan to let some talents come to your mansion to assist you. The mother-in-law said with concern, and Li Zheng felt warm in his heart. Thank you, concubine. Well, Zaihu, tell them to bring breakfast. Li Zheng was preparing for Yunyang Palace after breakfast at Yunfei Palace. Because of the influence of hunting, his studies were suspended during the Imperial College. In addition, the mansion will be opened in a month, so I rarely go there. Although Quozijian can also go after the opening of the government, such as the Crown Prince, King Yu, and others, Prince, King Yu and the others are going to Quozijian to make friends with children of aristocratic families, recruit some outstanding people, and what am I doing to cultivate power? Li Zheng thought to himself. Li Zheng thought while walking, and suddenly saw himself in front of Wangyang Palace. The Wangyang Palace, the palace of the 8th Prince Li Wang, although Emperor Chen disliked it, he had everything he should have, and no servant dared to disrespect the 8th Prince. Everyone is here, just go in and see this prince who looks like the protagonist, Li Zheng said suddenly after thinking about it. Hey, Qin Mingjun isn't more like the protagonist, the female version. Because the maids basically didn't follow the prince out, they could only stay in their own palace. Li Zheng could only instruct the little in front of the Wangyang Palace to call the 8th Prince. The 8th Prince will also open his palace next year. I have to say that Emperor Chen is powerful, and Prince Yu, the Crown Prince, is in his 20s. When the 3rd Prince appeared, a fault appeared, and then in a year or two, 7 or 8 princes and several princesses were born in a row. Li Zheng waited for a while, and the 8th Prince Li Huang personally came to the door to answer. The handsome 8th Prince Li Wang greeted Li Zheng with a smile on his face. Brother Huang, you have been waiting for a long time, please come in quickly. Li Zheng also smiled, haha, then I will disturb the 8th brother. As he spoke, he followed the 8th Prince Li Zhang into the palace. The 8th Prince Li Huang hurriedly said, where, I can be grateful for the Emperor's brother to come to me. Of course Li Huang is telling the truth, after all, Li Wang's identity is embarrassing. Although he has some princes, his princes look down on him. Some powerful princes and sons dared to laugh at him. So basically no one looked for him since childhood. And Li Zheng knew about Li Zheng's deeds 2 years ago, so he established a good relationship and helped him from time to time, so that he did not receive much ridicule in the past 2 years. Li Zhang was still very grateful to Li Zheng. In this world, only the Emperor's brother treats me well. When I ascend the throne, I will repay the Emperor's brother well. As for the others, Li Huang thought to himself. If Li Zheng could see what Li Xiang was saying, okay? Take the throne. Is the little brother so good, is he really the protagonist and has a golden finger? The Wangyang Palace has a golden roof and a red door. Inside the hall are carved beams and painted buildings. The antique style makes people feel solemn. Li Zheng and Li Zhang came to the hall and sat on both sides. Congratulations to the imperial brother for marrying Qin Tianjiao as his concubine. A trace of envy flashed in Li Zheng's eyes and congratulated Li Zheng. When Li Zheng heard these words, his expression of helplessness flashed again. Logically, according to the development of the third-rate plot, Li Zhang married Qin Mingjun instead of me, and then a series of counterattacks happened. But the reality is the reality. Li Wan will not open his house for a year, so Qin Mingjun will not be able to stay in Yujing City for so long. Where, you should know that this is a big trouble, and now I don't know why some people want to trouble me. After all, this is Qin Mingjun, and if you marry him, you will be backed by such a huge power as the township government. Not to mention other people who admire Qin Mingjun. Talented and handsome, now the prince must hate me to the point of gnashing his teeth. Li Zheng said helplessly. When Li Wang heard this, he frowned and thought for a moment. Brother Huang is really talented, and he can immediately think of the trouble behind marrying Qin Mingjun. If it was anyone else, he would have been happy to go elsewhere. Li Wang continued, but the hunting battle is about to start. If the emperor participates, the emperor will be even more troublesome. After all, Qin Tianjiao will definitely participate, and those admirers of the talented and handsome may trouble the emperor. Ah, who said it wasn't? Hunting is definitely going to go, and if Tianjiao confronts it, I won't participate. Li Zheng thought for a while. Although with the strength of the innate peak, he is also a top expert in front of geniuses. But Qin Mingjun is still here. Since he is not the first, there is no difference between the first and the second. What's more, keep a low profile, don't reveal your cultivation. Suddenly revealing your cultivation will make others suspicious, so they will definitely focus on me. I don't know, is the eighth brother going to participate? Li Zheng asked. Go, why don't you go? The eighth prince Li Xian replied with determination and determination. I'm going to surprise everyone this time, I'm no worse than anyone. Oh, Li Zheng's eyes lit up, it seems that the eighth brother has a plan. Then congratulate the eighth brother in advance on his victory. Haha, the two smiled at each other, and then chatted for a long time. Inside the general's mansion, a few strands of light leaked from the gilded door frames and walls into the room filled with the burning aroma of ambergris, and sprinkled on the long snow-white hair of the Persian wool carpet. The heavy curtains were embroidered with delicate gold threads. Auspicious cloud edge. The two delicate maids stood on either side. Qin Mingjun sat quietly among them, with a white face and soft lines. The faint crescent eyebrows, such as Jade's skin, are blushing, but the moon eyebrows and star eyes are cold and arrogant, which is really a national beauty. Below sat two young talents, one with a resolute face sitting in a military posture, at first glance it is a military general. One with WeChat on his face and deep eyes, as if everything is under control, is a counselor. These two young heroes are the confidants of Qin Mingjun, and Qin Lai is the young generation of famous generals of the Black Plume Army. Fang Xiyu is a resourceful think tank who advises Qin Mingjun. They are also talking about the hunting club. This hunting battle is very important to us. We must not only participate, but also show the momentum of our township government, expand the township government's influence, and help us in our future plans. Fang Xiyu said calmly. Qin Lai went on to say, this time, the forces of the town government have come to the young master and you and me. Although the young master is already a master, and the younger generation of the entire Dixuan dynasty is unrivaled, but the Jade capital city Crouching Tiger possession is unrivaled. Long, there are a lot of talents, and there are many young masters. What's more, the royal family is paying attention to us, and I am afraid that it will be difficult to succeed. Qin Lai is right, there are many outstanding people in Yujing city, but they will not unite. As for the royal family, Fang Xiyu said with a light smile, in Yujing, we have a lot of connections with our town government, and we can cooperate with them. For maximum benefit. No matter who it is, I will take the first place this time. The ethereal and arrogant Qin Mingjun said sharply. Viang Palace, gorgeous palace, luxurious decorations, just right in the conspicuous place, all of them reflect the dignity of the palace owner. The prince also discussed with his confidant, this hunting battle, we must show the strength of this palace, let the ministers in the court look up, and let the emperor approve. The prince is domineering. One of the advisors said softly, this time our biggest opponent is Qin Mingjun. Since she has come to Yujing city, she will definitely participate and win the first place given the current situation. The next few strategists were discussing, if you fight alone, no one is Qin Mingjun's opponent. We can find forces to cooperate, and put Qin Mingjun out of the game first. Cooperation: who are we looking for to cooperate, who is willing to cooperate, and who is sincerely cooperating with us? The prince was silent for a while. The prince looked at the opinions of several advisors and said calmly, looking for King Yu, I believe the second brother will be willing to cooperate with us. Yuyang Palace, King Yu was discussing the hunting meeting with a few henchmen. Find the prince to cooperate, he will agree. King Yu said firmly, looking at Vyang Palace. The Crown Prince and King Yu both wanted to be first, so let Qin Mingjun get out first, minus the most dangerous person, so no matter who wins, the royal family's power will be heavier. Humph! Hunting battle. Fifth Prince Li Sun's eyes were like torches. The first Tian Jiao, Qin Mingjun, I want to see if you are worthy of this title. The houses located among the trees, exposing the glazed tile roofs, resembled a golden island. A man's eyes showed ferocity. A well-mannered scholar looked into the distance with deep eyes. This Tianjiao hunting battle will become more and more interesting. The children of various aristocratic families are preparing for the arrival of the hunting party. In the distance, Lu Bulletin is in front of the gate of a large cottage, and there are bandits lying on the ground below. In Jade Capital City, Chen Gong in the restaurant was observing the surroundings dully, listening to all kinds of news from passers-by, and his eyes lit up from time to time. Inside the palace, in the Imperial Study Room, Director Li reported to Emperor Chen, Your Majesty, the hunting battle is about to start, do you know what the reward will be? Emperor Chen proudly looked into the distance, reward. Time will not stop because of a certain person or something. The other geniuses and heroes are all working hard to prepare for the Tianjiao hunting battle, and 3 days pass by in the blink of an eye. On the other hand, Li Zhengtian had a careful understanding of the system and was familiar with the exercises and martial arts in the Emperor's Sutra. The lottery system has been understood, and the task system has a main task, which is to become the lord of a country. This task is a long time away from Li Zheng, and needs to be considered in the long run. In other words, if there are main quests, there must be side quests, but in the past 3 days, I have tried everything that can be tried, and nothing has been triggered. It may be that in the palace, the trigger conditions are small, plus Li Zheng's understanding, it should be content related to hegemony, and can only be opened after the palace is opened. Outside the Yujing city, in the royal hunting grounds 50 kilometers to the south, the mountains and forests crisscrossed, and the range spans 700 kilometers. There are countless strange beasts, the powerful ones are master-level monsters, and the weaker ordinary monsters are even more numerous. This hunting ground is the first hunting ground built by the royal family with countless resources, which is very suitable for the hunting of Tianjiao Junjia. Today is the start of Tianjiao's hunting battle. Outside the royal hunting grounds, there are so many people, and if you look around, you can't see the limit. Most of them are ordinary people watching the fun. There are also some handsome civilians who participated in hunting battles, geniuses from noble families. And the real aristocratic family, Tianjiao, has not yet appeared. Look, isn't that the young talent of Yushan Academy, Wang Yan? I heard that he was already a master of the innate realm half a year ago. I don't know what his cultivation is now. A passerby saw a serious-looking young man with a long sword in front of him and said excitedly, yeah, these geniuses are really scary. They have already broken through the innate realm in their 20s, and we are already in our 30s, and we don't know when we will be able to break through the innate realm. A mature middle-aged warrior looked at the genius boy and side road, who said no, it's really maddening. Look, isn't that a genius, Duan Shi? He's here too. And there's a girl genius, Mu Qinger, she's so beautiful. Many geniuses have come out. There are still some famous geniuses. I really don't know what kind of demeanor those talented geniuses who are famous all over the world should be. Yet, I heard that Qin Mingjun, the first female Tianjiao of the Dixuan dynasty, will also come. Haha, you can also admire the face of the peerless Tianjiao. Haha, who said no? I came here just to see Qin Tianjiao. Passers-by were talking. When I was young, one after another, young geniuses and the best entered the arena, causing passers-by to shout excitedly to introduce them. I sigh that there are so many geniuses this time, it's a worthwhile trip. At this moment, there was a silence, and many people quietly watched a man with a heavy gun and exuding a strong temperament, step by step into the hunting ground. After he entered, the crowd suddenly burst into shouts, "Isn't that one of the three heroes of our Jade capital, Zhou Qing, the gunman? Yeah, it's too strong. Now he should be almost at the peak of innate talent. He's here, and the other three heroes are coming soon." After another quarter of an hour, there was a huge shout, "Qin Tianjiao is here." At this moment, not only did the crowd calm down, but those talented and handsome men also calmed down and watched a snow-white carriage slowly approach, with Qin Lai and Fang Xiyu following on both sides of the carriage. I saw the carriage returning to the entrance of the royal hunting grounds and stopped. I saw that the clothes were like snow, black as ink, long and jade-like, and the eyes were as cold as a clear spring on a snowy mountain, and there was an ethereal and arrogant temperament on his body. "Qin Mingjun, get off the carriage! Hey!" Everyone looked up at Qin Mingjun as if they were looking up to the boss. The women were screaming. "This is Qin Mingjun, the first daughter of Prince Dixuan. A year ago, he fought with Yu Luofu, a famous general of the Western Jin dynasty, at the border, and won 2 of 3 battles. In the end, he broke through the master and beheaded Yu Luofu on the battlefield. In the end, the girl general who won the 3 cities on the border of the Western Jin dynasty was a great hero. Next, the talented children of the aristocratic family and the descendants of the civil servants and generals also entered the venue one after another. Finally, the domineering Emperor Chen entered the stage. The fierce generals of the court and Chinese officials who followed, the Crown Prince, King Yu, and some competing princes followed. "Join your Majesty! Your Majesty's long life is boundless!" Everyone bowed and shouted. In the crowd of the royal family, Li Zheng looked around calmly, and the prince glanced domineeringly at the genius ahead. King Yu's eyes were like torches, and he looked vaguely at the direction of certain geniuses. The 5th Prince Li Sun was extremely arrogant, and the 8th Prince Li Sun had a calm expression. If you look closely at his eyes, it is as bright as a flame. "Everyone, please get up. My Dixuan dynasty is powerful in all directions. Outside, there are generals to suppress the quartet, and inside there are civil servants to keep the world safe. Today is the annual Tianjiao hunting battle of my Dixuan dynasty. My Dixuan dynasty is so talented and handsome. The prosperity of your younger generation is the prosperity of our future Dixuan dynasty. I look forward to your performance." Chen Huang said domineeringly. "Yes, Your Majesty. The geniuses have bright eyes." A hot blood radiated from the inside out. Emperor Chen and his ministers took their seats and watched the battle. Yu reading www.yuyuganshu.com. Next, a doorman will introduce the rules of Tianjiao hunting battle. 1. The geniuses entered the royal hunting ground to hunt monsters for 3 days. 2. After the 3 days of hunting monsters, the geniuses used the ears and noses of monsters as a basis to verify the strength of monsters, and obtained different points to rank them. 3. It is forbidden to kill each other in the hunting ground. If it is found to be serious, there will be no amnesty. 4. When the geniuses were listening to all kinds of rules, Li Zhenbei looked around boredly, focusing on the peerless and elegant woman standing among the most dazzling geniuses, his unmarried princess, Qin Mingjun. Of course, many powerful geniuses are also watching her quietly, some looking at challenges, some looking at admiration, some looking at calm, all kinds of complicated emotions. At this time, Qin Mingjun also looked over. Qin Tianjiao was looking at Li Zheng, the king of Qin. Qin Mingjun looked at his unremarkable fiancée with deep eyes, but he didn't know what he was thinking. Many people saw this scene and showed funny smiles. Thinking deeply, King Qin, I don't know how his performance is this time. King Qin's strength is not very good. There are also top geniuses who look at their opponents with a hint of ruthlessness. Monroe will read out the rules after finishing. The geniuses who participated in the Tianjiao hunting meeting were ready, and they stood together in threes and twos, gathered in front of some top Tianjiao, and there were also individual powerhouses. Among them, the prince and Yu Wang led the gathering with the largest number of people. The following are some geniuses from aristocratic families. There are also many around the fifth prince, and the other princes either did not participate or did not come, or they were alone, or two people joined together. For example, Li Zheng and Li Wei are standing together. Then the Tianjiao hunting battle officially started. The geniuses rushed into the dynasty hunting grounds one after another. In addition to competing for rankings and gaining fame, the hunting grounds of the imperial palace range from 700 miles away. The geniuses who participated this time were all selected from the surrounding areas of the Yujing city. There are more than 4,300 geniuses in total, and the highest cultivation level is the Master Realm. The minimum cultivation base is the 8th level of martial arts, and they are all under the age of 25. The Master is Qin Mingjun alone. There are several top geniuses at the peak of the late Xiantian realm, and their breath can break through the Master at any time. There are dozens of late Xiantian realms. They are magnificent, and they are the top group of Tianjiao, the Masters. The Prep Master. But the difficulty of breaking through a Master can make people unable to break through the Master realm for a few years or even a dozen years. On the first day of Tianjiao's hunting, all geniuses were fighting against all kinds of monsters. Under normal circumstances, the strength of monsters is stronger than that of warriors of the same rank. But here comes the one who is not a genius. Even if you can't kill a monster of the same rank, can you still beat it? Is that still a genius? Don't be ashamed of genius. The powerful geniuses have gone to the depths to find the monsters in the innate realm to find their own breakthrough points. The weaker people look for monsters on the periphery and break through themselves. That's right, Tianjiao hunting battle. In addition to competing for rankings and gaining fame, there are various opportunities in the hunting grounds. Fighting with monsters can exercise one's own martial skills, improve strength, kill monsters to get beast crystals. Beast crystals are the crystals of a monster's life, and it is very beneficial for warriors to absorb them, which can be used to break through cultivation. It is more fortunate, and it is a coincidence to obtain exotic flowers and fruits, which can directly break through the realm after eating. A day has passed, and many geniuses have fought fiercely with monsters to increase their strength. Those who have a deep backlog of strength directly break through the current cultivation base. There are also many unlucky or incompetent people who have been eliminated, seriously injured, and have to withdraw from the Tianjiao hunting battle. At night, the dark clouds covered the bright moon, and the mountains and forests were pitch black. The roars of various monsters made the royal hunting ground at night even more terrifying. In the perilous jungle, 5 geniuses from the academy went deep to kill monsters, and 4 men and 1 woman watched their surroundings vigilantly. Because in addition to monsters, we also need to pay attention to people. Suddenly there was a vibration all around, and a huge howl came from the front. Several people looked at each other and went quietly. He approached slowly, hid in the jungle, and saw dozens of meters ahead, the mighty mountains and forests were in a mess, a scarlet monster with a height of 9 meters and a body length of about 17 meters, full of scars fighting against Qin Mingjun. It's the master monster, the red flame lion. One of the men shouted secretly. The Xian lion, whose body is red, looks like a flame, is a powerful commander-level monster. It was Qin Mingjun who was fighting against him. I saw the terrifying aura displayed by the two sides. Qin Mingjun's swordsmanship was sharp and superb. Every time he fights, the red flame lion will have one more scar. And all around Qin Lai, Fang Xiu, and a dozen geniuses who had made good friends with the Zhen Wangfu surrounded the battlefield. One was to prevent the Xian lion from escaping, and the other was to prevent the geniuses from other forces. A moment later, the incomparably powerful Scarlet Flame Lion let out a wailing, and then lay down on the ground, breathless. Qin Mingjun's face was only slightly pale, but it was not a big problem. Hey, so strong! The geniuses who observed in the dark pressed their hearts in amazement. Although they heard how powerful Qin Mingjun was, the effect they saw with their own eyes was different. A monster in the Grandmaster realm, let alone a battle, it is normal to feel its aura from a distance, turn around and run. And Qin Mingjun beheaded alone and retreated completely, which is really amazing. On the other side, far away, with a group of talented princes around him, they were in a wide place, facing off against a group of people. The leader of the other group was King Yu. The surroundings were quiet and silent, each with different expressions and powerful auras, all of whom were geniuses in the innate realm. The strongest are the two innate peaks standing behind the prince and the king of Yu, and there are also several innate late-stage imposing ones. Sure enough, being an outstanding prince is not a fuel-efficient lamp, he is resourceful. There is no right or wrong in things, as long as there is enough interest, the hostile people will cooperate. Because they all have a powerful opponent, Qin Mingjun, the first Tianjiao that everyone knows. No one is her opponent alone. And both the prince and King Yu want to be the first, so first of all, Qin Mingjun will be excluded, and the most dangerous person will be eliminated. Prince Yu took a few steps forward and came to the other side. The prince looked at King Yu calmly and said, "How about we cooperate first and kick Qin Mingjun out of the game?" King Yu replied decisively, "Yes, there are still 2 days left for Yu reading www.yuyuganshu.com, and Qin Mingjun was seriously injured in these 2 days, making her unable to participate in the next Tianjiao competition. Okay, let's mobilize our respective forces to find Qin Mingjun, and then we will do it together. Okay, after Qin Mingjun is out, let's look at their respective means. A few simple conversations, let the prince's forces cooperate with the Yu King's forces, and prepare to find Qin Mingjun and let her out." The Crown Prince and King Yu sent their subordinates to disperse around to inquire about Qin Mingjun's whereabouts, and they set up camp and rested on the spot. At this time, Li Zheng was lying on the tree and resting. Anyway, he didn't need to the first place to enhance his power advantage. There were 2 other young men resting beside him under the tree, who seemed to be guarding him. That's right, these 2 heroes are the young children of Yun Gaifei's family, Yun Feng and Yun Lin. These 2 are also young geniuses, the peak of the Yunfen Xiantian realm in the early stage, and the Yunlin Xiantian middle stage. They are the top 5 geniuses of the Yun family, and the Yun family has one of the strongest geniuses in the late stage of Xiantian, but he needs to lead the Yun family to the hunting, looking for opportunities to enhance strength and win rankings. The Yun family asked Yunfen and Yunlin to follow King Li Zheng of Qin. And the 8th Prince Li Zhang parted with Li Zheng when he entered the palace hunting grounds. At this time, he was fiercely tearing up with a monster. If the princes saw it at this time, they would definitely be shocked. Wasn't Li Feng at the 8th level of martial arts 3 months ago? How come he has reached the early stage of the innate, and the monsters he is fighting against are in the middle stage of the innate? I saw that Li Zhang's movements were sharp, his movements were unfathomable, and he even killed monsters at close range, and his martial skills were even more powerful. During the tea time, the monster in the middle stage of the innate was killed by Li Wang with one palm, and then he skillfully used a knife to cut open the head of the monster and took the beast crystal randomly and quickly ran to the depths. The next morning, in a remote cave in the hunting grounds of the imperial palace, Li Zhuangduan, a emaciated figure, was sitting and exuding an aura of cultivation in the early days of the innate, practicing the exercises. When Li Wang was performing the exercises, a figure suddenly appeared from the pendant tied to Li Wang's neck, and the figure was blurred and it was difficult to see his face. Li Zhang opened his eyes and looked at the figure as usual, and called out Master with a smile on his face. Zhan Lao, a soul body from an outer domain, hid in a pendant and accidentally came to this Shushan domain. It was picked up by the mother of the 8th Prince Li Wang, and finally passed to Li Wang. One night half a year ago, Zhan Lao regained consciousness. Suddenly appeared in front of the 8th Prince Li Huang, so the 8th Prince Li Huang seized the opportunity to worship Zhan Lao as his teacher, and Zhan Lao also needed a person to help and hide. The two were known as masters and apprentices. Zhan Lao passed down a powerful Zun level exercise, Mad Heaven's Warfare, half a year ago, and gave it to Li Wang. Within half a year, under the careful guidance of Zhan Lao, he broke through from the 8th level of martial arts to the innate realm, which has greatly increased Li Fang's confidence now. Zhan Lao looked at Li Wang with kind eyes and said, "Teacher, this technique of Mad Sky Warfare is inscrutable, it does not require any talent, just one word, war. What is Mad Heaven Warfare? The more you fight, the stronger it becomes, the faster the exercise, the faster the cultivation. It is a great test of one's willpower and physical ability. This Tianjiao hunting battle is a big opportunity for you. Every time you fight for life and death, you will quickly become stronger, and you will absorb the beast crystals, consolidate your strength, and lay the foundation for every step." Zhan Lao said seriously. "Yes, Master, if you don't kill me, it will eventually make me stronger. I will cherish this opportunity and become stronger." Li Wang said resolutely. "Okay, yes, you will understand later that talent is very important, but your own will is more important. Talent can make you improve your cultivation quickly, but having a strong will make you go further." While the two of them were talking, they suddenly heard the sound of fighting in front of them. The two looked at each other. Zhan Lao quickly returned to the pendant, and Li Wei walked forward quietly. "Suddenly, I saw a huge monster, King Glinmeng, the peak of the innate, fighting against a slim girl. This King Glinmeng offensive was very strong, and the girl quickly fell into the disadvantage. Mu Shuling, one of the 3 heroes of the Jade capital city, cultivated at the late stage of the innate. She is still very depressed in her heart now. She was resting well, but suddenly this green phosphorus attacked her. Accidentally injured, and this green phosphorus is relentless, the attack is very fierce, and slowly Mu Shuling can't stand it. Now Mu Shuling is very anxious, but her moves have not been messed up. I've suffered, my inner strength is about to run out, what should I do? I don't know if there is anyone nearby to help me. If I knew earlier, I would be with my family." At this moment, Mu Shuling was negligent for a while. Qing Ping Mang swept his tail and swept across Mu Shuling. Mu Shuling spit out a mouthful of blood and flew upside down in front of the 8th Prince Li Xiang. Qing Ping Mang quickly rushed in front of Mu Shuling and bit him, but Mu Shuling, who was seriously injured, could no longer get up, and closed his eyes in despair. With such a roar, Qing Ping Mang shook the ground. Mu Shuling opened her eyes and saw Qing Phosphorus lying in front of her. A slender boy with a resolute face stood in front of her. Before he could take a closer look, he saw that the young man directly picked up Mu Shuling, turned around and ran away. "That's right, this person is Li Yan." I saw Li running and saying to Mu Shuling, "Don't move. I just said that Qing Ping Mang didn't see me, and had the opportunity to sneak up on Qing Ping Mang. When Qing Ping Mang recovers, both of us will be angered by the current anger. Killed by Qing Phosphorus. This is a monster at the peak of the congenital peak. Li Huang is only in the early stage. How can he possibly beat him? Although he has a master, he cannot reveal his trump card because of saving people." Front. When Li Huang just fled to the depths, Qing Ping Mang, who was lying on the ground, immediately stood up. His eyes were fierce, and he quickly chased after Li Huang. The whole way was a mess. After chasing him for a quarter of an hour, Li Huang held Mu Shuling and kept running. He ran into a valley. When he couldn't hold on any longer, Qing Finmang stopped chasing him. Maybe King Glinmang was tired of chasing it, or maybe it was beyond its territory. Qing Linmang, who was at the peak of Xiantian Peak, stopped in place, staring at the direction in which Li Huang and the others fled, turned and left with a trace of fear. Who? Li Yan put Mu Shuling down, leaned against the tree, and rested profusely. Who are you, His Royal Highness the Eighth Prince? Mu Shuling asked with a hint of doubt. Li Wan's eyes lit up. Oh, you know me. Li Huang looked at this pretty and lovely girl in surprise and asked, it seems that someone still knows me. I've heard of it, plus I saw a few of you princes come with Emperor Chen yesterday. Mu Shuling said with a blushing face, this time, I would like to thank the Eighth Prince for saving his life. My name is Mu Shuling, what do you need in the future? I help, I will never delay. Mu Shuling stood up and said to Li Fang seriously. Haha, it's all right, if anyone encounters such a situation, Yu reading www.yuyuganshu.com will come to the rescue. Li Huang said happily. Maybe they both escaped, and they were both happy. Mu Shuling smiled and said, that's not necessarily true. Thank you, His Royal Highness, the Eighth Prince this time. Li Huang quickly waved his hand and said, you don't need to call me His Royal Highness the Eighth Prince. If you're embarrassed, call me Li Huang. When Mu Shuling saw this young man who was a little shy and saved her life, her pure white face also turned red, and she said softly, okay, you can also call me Shuling. Okay, then we are friends. Li Huang said excitedly. Okay. Afterwards, Mu Shuling looked at Li Huang and asked with some doubts, I heard some people say that the Eighth Prince has a mediocre talent, and he was still at the 8th level of martial arts a while ago, but now it seems that the rumors can't be believed, your current cultivation is innate. The cultivation base is in the initial stage, but the peak of the initial stage is about to break through the middle stage. A flash of anger flashed in Li Yan's eyes, and then he smiled wordlessly. Just when Li Wang and Mu Shuling were working together. In the other direction in the distance, the prince and King Yu were easily hunting down monsters. A congenital master quickly ran in front of them. Prince, His Royal Highness King Yu, Qin Mingjun's trace has been found, and they are preparing to take the Heavenly Spirit Fruit. Heavenly Spirit Fruit. The prince and King Yu looked at each other, and the space around them was stagnant. Heavenly Spirit Fruit, an excellent treasure to break through the Grand Master realm, can be encountered but not sought after. To break through the master state at the peak of the innate, you need to combine your own martial skills and exercises, master your own potential, and use the sword to realize the sword posture, the sword posture, the fire attribute exercises, the fire force. Tianlikuo, after taking it, you can quickly realize your own potential, or even two potentials. Let's fight Qin Mingjun together first, the prince said, and King Yu nodded. Go.